Why has everyone forgotten about Speed Racer? This movie feels like the result of too many drugs and way too much free time in the CGI department. Let me be clear about one thing before we start. There are three types of movies in my mind. Good movies, bad movies, and great bad movies. I think you know what we're talking in right now.
Here comes Speed Racer.
With as few spoilers as I can manage, the basic plot of Speed Racer is boy love car, boy race car, boy beat bad guy, a lot of bad guy, boy win race, or should I say speed? Yes, his name is Speed and his last name is Racer, with a brother, Rex Racer. They were really grinding gears for names, I guess. But more seriously, Speed Racer is a young boy that loves racing in cars because of the relationship with his dad and older brother, who are up-and-coming racing legends. I would hope with the last name Racer, you'd be good at racing. But his brother was not, and dies. But Speed tries to fill his shoes and become a great race car driver. It turns out he is in fact a great driver, and attracts the attention of sponsors who, in short, will help him in the pros and inform him that the races are rigged, and if he does not sign on with one of them, he will never be able to race and never be able to win. This, of course, enrages little Speed Racer, who tries his best to overcome the odds and make an ally along the way to overturn the corruption, with many fun characters and action along the way. Now with that out of the way, the plot at its core is a fantastic premise with cool story, including gangsters and the fixing of races. It feels like a commentary on corporate greed. This may sound good, but Speed Racer does not pull it off well. It comes off very confusing, kind of like a high school report on corporate greed. It's trying to be way too deep and not having any idea what it's talking about. There are many times watching it, you just have no idea what's going on. It really takes 2 or 3 watches to figure out the main gist of the story. It ends up being very overloaded with complex ideas that are not elaborated and given enough time to really breathe. I know I just said this was a great movie, but remember in what category we're talking, okay?
All that matters is power and the unassailable might of money.
Now where this movie really shines, action. When I tell you there's still not a race car movie that gets me as hyped as when Speed races, the things he drives in not his last name, they feel like adults cracked out Mario Kart in the best ways. You can really see the love for the franchise in the action scenes and where the production focused their efforts. Every explosion and silly car fight had me jumping and boxing in the air like I was the main character in a WWE match. The fighting scenes that don't involve car karate are just as entertaining and creative. A little too creative, but it counts. Every fight scene has its own style and different cinematography. This is different from normal movies, but I think it's what gives it its special flair and throws back to the anime it is based off of. Everyone is talking about the live action One Piece being a good anime adaptation with its action and giving its throwbacks to the OG, but this was the honest to goodness, we're just gonna make an anime, but they're gonna be live people. They even tried to keep it an anime with how much CGI is in it. There's a scene where they fight in an anime just because they wanted to remind you this movie was an anime. I actually have no idea what it's doing in the movie. The idea of the whole movie is just, we're gonna do it because we can. The art style and overall direction of this movie is a product of its time. You can see they wanted to capture the anime history of this movie, but sometimes forgot they were trying to do that. It's just like in 6th grade, where a class has to make PowerPoints for the first time, and everyone uses every effect and transition on that terrible app, and it just feels the same for the directors, the Wachowskis, who, fun fact, also directed The Matrix and V is for Vendetta, so pretty weird resume so far, I'd say. I guess they just found out about CGI or special effects or really any effect in general because they just threw it all in here. The music though is perfect. Every song and fight scene fits perfectly and naturally and adds to the movie wonderfully. The ending is just absolutely perfect. I would not change one thing if I could. The flashbacks and plot twists are simply stunning and catch everyone off guard after the wild ride the movie has put you on so far. The emotion he is feeling in the scene and what he is going through, you can't help but apply to your own life and wonder if struggle is worth the price you pay. Where this movie shines is the car action. I mean, every frame with a car in it should be put in a museum, and programmers working on Mario Kart should have to walk in that museum every day and look at this masterpiece. Cars flying, hitting each other, other weird feats that are impossible, but screw it. It's a movie based off an anime, and the directors wanted it to be an anime. It's a movie where they can do what they want. Car missiles, car guns, car flips, driving up cliffs. May use a few cheap riding tricks to get some emotion, but that's what they're for. They're tricks, they work. You can feel the struggle, and the car adds every second to it and does not take away from the human part of the story. The actors do a good job with some familiar faces and some that got lost after this. I don't know why. The writing and the dialogue is what this category is about. I mean, it's still technically a bad movie. I just love it.
Do you think I'm afraid? Is that what you think about me? If you do, cut it out. I'm not scared.
No, Forky was only trying to think of what might be best for you.
And there's a monkey in it, so that's what's important. I would recommend you watch this movie to grasp what I'm talking about. It is not something that you can put into words. While yes, I have known people to get panic attacks watching it from overstimulation, if that's not the kind of review that gets you excited for something, this movie is not for you. Now please, go watch it so they make a second one so I can love that one just as much. If you watch this movie and it makes you want to drive a car straight up a cliff to do car karate against a man who is way too obsessed with snakes, let me know. We can figure something out. I know a guy. Thanks so much for watching.